Hello everybody, MechlordGames here. I'm going to be discussing with you today the top 10 underrated decks in my opinion. And by underrated I mean decks that a lot of people don't really look at anymore and say that they have potential, which is actually rather disheartening to know that people don't think that these decks can compete with meta, and they are actually wrong. And there are many reasons why they're wrong, and I think that these decks still have a lot of potential for various reasons. Number one on our list is Ice Barrier. They have immense summon power with General Gintala. They have massive stall power with a lot of their cards. They have massive draw power and search power with cards like Strategist. Their Ice Barrier search card, which apparently I forgot to put in here, like a derp. I forgot that. But they have cards like Prior to special summon things like Gintala out of the grave. Samurai the Ice Barrier. Then when it switches to defense position, destroy it, draw a card. Rhoda to search into Samurai of the Ice Barrier because it is indeed a warrior type monster. So these have multiple. Well, this has a lot of draw power, a lot of search power, and Ice Barrier was one of the few sets to ever have its particular monsters banned and or limited, and still carry on to this day. Brionok and Trishula are two of the biggest, well-known monsters that have broken the game just because of how overpowered they are. And Ice Barrier abused them, but other decks did too, and that's completely understandable. But it's one of the few sets that has actually had most of its cards limited and or banned, like with Delorean at 1. Gungnir hasn't been touched, which is a good thing because Gungnir is just awesome and can be played very diversely in Mermails. Now, number 2 on our list is Heroic Challenger. Now, a lot of people actually underlook Heroic Challengers, and they actually recently did get new support for OCG, including Thousand Blades and Assault Halberd. Assault Halberd having a Photon Thrasher-like effect, being able to summon itself out of hand. And it's a search card if it actually does damage to an opponent's monster. Well, actually just inflicts battle damage to an opponent in general. You can search out. So that has a really good, powerful effect. Thousand Blades just allows you to summon from the deck at the, discarding, but that's fine because you can set up your graveyard for plays with Double Lance to make Constant Xyz plays. They have Heroic Challenger Extra Sword to power up, and they have all kinds of trap cards that allows them to power up too. And of course, they are warriors, and they are able to take advantage of Rhoda. Now, another thing about Heroic Challengers that makes them good is they have a lot of powerful Xyz monsters, such as Gondiva, to stop special summoning of level 4 or lower monsters. Things like number 86, Heroic Champion, Ragnamont, very, very, very overpowered, and these new OCG cards actually will allow you to summon into this monster and get his full 5 effects off, especially if you take advantage of cards like Soul Charge. This guard becomes very broken. They have things like Excalibur that can be used very diversely throughout warrior type decks. Just allows a lot of diverse playability with other warrior type decks, and that's one of the things that Yu-Gi-Oh actually needs is diversity. And Heroic Challenger gives a lot of diversity to a lot of players who want a really cheap to build deck that is cost efficient and is effective, and Heroic Challenger definitely does that. At number 3 we have ninjas, such as Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo that allows you to search for ninja cards or ninjutsu art cards. Upstart Golden Ninja to send trap cards from your hand to special summon ninja cards, and there's a lot of them. Things like Ninjutsu Art of Transformation that can summon into things like Dark Samord to lock down your opponent's field to where they can't set anything, and they often have light and dark monsters, which, well, the main engines are light and dark, which can be used to fuel for things like Blackluster Soldier. And since they're warrior types, they can also take advantage of Rhoda. Number 4 on our list is Raccoons, or Tanuket, whichever name you prefer. They like to special summon a lot of weak monsters, but that is not all. They can take advantage of things like Junk Synchron, which is a warrior which can be searched through Rhoda as well. And they can take advantage of things like Raikou and Kalintosa. And Kalintosa allows you to pop shit. as well as they can take advantage of the card Obedient Schooled to make synchro plays, to make XCs plays. Just go all in. Obedient Schooled can do that. And it can also be used to make the Egyptian God cards if you would like to use Obedient Schooled to summon the Egyptian God cards. It allows you to have a method of being able to summon into Obelisk and Ra, stuff like that, and be able to make very powerful cards. And due to the fact that you can take advantage of Junk Synchron, you actually are able to take advantage of the card like Frozen Fitzgerald. And they have their own particular monster, Ronin Raccoon Sendayu, that can copy any big monster's attack on the field. And it's a very it's a very fast-paced deck, and can summon into multiples of these very quickly. Now next on our list, at number 5, is Volcanics. Volcanics can search into their Blaze Accelerator cards, and Volcanic Scattershot can clear the field, and Volcanic Shell just allows you to search and gives you a little bit of playability, and because they're fire types, you can play things like Blaster, any kind of fire type support card you can play in Volcanic very easily. They have the spell card Blaze Accelerator Destroy cards and Blaze Accelerator Magazine to actually play for draw power. So the deck has a lot of potential in those regards. Next you have Swap Frog. Next you have Frogs at number 5. Frogs have always been known to make tribute summon decks for monarchs. Caius, Ryza, Claudians, Mobius, Ryza, Caius, stuff like that. Jinzos, Vanity Rulers or whatever the hell it's called. But frogs are a very useful summon engine and can actually be used in a very diverse amount of decks based on the fact that they are water type. They can be played in water-based decks that need water cards to do stuff. So that is one thing that you definitely can use them for. Next up on our list is Claudians at number 6. Or 7. I think 7. Not even sure anymore. But it is Claudians have been known to be a very annoying, obnoxious set when played in combination with their Sanctuary in the Sky. You can pop aggro and monsters with Cirrostratus and Acid Cloud and reduce their cards in their hand with Altis, and you even have a special summon card, Storm Dragon. You basically play a bunch of counters on everything and you just start wrecking everything that they play. You have tech support cards like Sanctuary in the Sky that protect you from taking any damage, and the monsters themselves cannot be destroyed by battle. So that is a plus. And there's also search cards for the Sanctuary in the Sky. These are also water monsters, so you can play water type cards like Salvage. You can play things you can play that one card, Moray of Greed, that can put them all back in the deck. You can make things like Bahamut Shark. You can make water-based Exceed cards out of Claudians. And they are very powerful and have a lot of support backing them, also due to the fact that they are fairy types. And there are some fairy support cards as well that you can use in Claudians. Next on our list is Melodious at number 8. Melodious is a set of fairies known to pretty much lock them down to where they don't really get to attack or do where they can't kill you. When they're special summoned, you can, like Aria, they can't be targeted by card effects or be destroyed by battle. Cannon, you just special summon it from your hand when you have a Melodious monster, and they can make rank 4 exceeds, and once per turn you can target a Melodious monster, change its battle position. You have things like Mozarta, who is a big level 8 that can special summon any light fairy type monster, so this is very diversely used among other fairy type decks. Sonata the Melodious Diva boosts all fairy type monsters. They also have Elegy, who makes it to where they can't be destroyed by card effects, but I forgot to include her, and they can take advantage of Valhalla for their special summon effects to basically allow them to have their special summon abilities, such as you can't destroy them, target them, kill them, whatever. It can create it can help them make their lockdown effect. Next at number 9 is Nordics. Nordics have been known to make their god cards, but they are relatively slow decks, and people always say that they're not really good decks anymore, and I would have to actually disagree. Nordics, in my opinion, have always been one of the strongest decks and one of the funnest decks to play, and is a very old classic. None of the god cards, though, have been banned due to the difficulty of being able to summon them. But over time, it has become a slight bit easier to summon these god cards. You have Goldfax, who you can special summon via the effect of Tannin Juster, which, if you set Tannin Gristnir, it gets killed, summon 2 tokens, summon Tannin Juster. Tannin Juster summons Goldfax, you make Thor. You have Valkyrie of the Nordic Ascendant, which is an easy in to Odin. If you play first, draw her and 2 other Nordic types, Nordic monsters, banish them, and make an easy Odin. And then you have Mara, that synchros out of hand to create the almighty Loki. But in addition to that, they can make other very powerful level 10 exceeds, level 9 exceeds. They can do a lot of stuff. And level 9 synchros, not exceeds. What the hell am I talking about? But they can make things like Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree, and many more very powerful monsters. And finally on our list is Gusto. Gustos have draw power and a lot of summon power, and can synchro into a lot of very powerful monsters that can be very diverse. You can make anything from level 3 to level 11. And hell, you can even make Quasar with Gustos. So they are a massive synchro deck that has a lot of summon power, which recently got a new card, Pilica, which just allows you to summon more wind tuner monsters in your graveyard and just summon all kinds of nuts out of it as well. You have Winda that summons, it's a psychic type, and the psychic type monsters can't be special summoned in with things like emergency teleport. They also have their own special search power and popping card, recycle power and popping card, Contact with Gusto, and can also take advantage of things such as Quillpen of Goldos. And they have their own very powerful synchro monsters, Daigusto Eagles, Daigusto Goldos, and Daigusto Shrees. Shrees, basically, it's hard to kill Shrees, and they take any battle damage you would take. Goldos pops cards at the cost of popping cards back into your deck. And you have Eagles, who is a very big, powerful beat stick. And you banish wind monsters from your graveyard to target face down monsters with face down cards your opponent controls and destroy it. So each of them has their very own powerful effects and are very easy to summon in Gustos, and I think are still one of the top 10 decks that has a lot of potential, that can summon very big, powerful monsters very easily and very quickly. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe. Peace out.